To our viewing public, to our community watching in the gallery, good afternoon. I hereby call this first day fourth special session to order. Today is July 14, 2025, and the time is 1:30, and we're here at the Senate Chamber, the Honorable Vice Speaker Sus P. Maftunas Memorial Building here in Capitol Hill. Before we proceed, may I ask everybody to please put their mobile devices on silent mode or switch them off. Today's session is being streamed live on Channel 23, cable TV, our Senate YouTube channel, and our legislature's Facebook page. Before we proceed, may I ask everybody to please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalka,
Presente.
Senator Calvo, Senator Castro,
Stiga.
Senator De La Cruz, Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider, Senator King Neighbors,
Here.
Senator Magofnia,
Presente.
Senator Manglonia.
Present.
Mr. President,
Here.
Mr. President, 8 members are present, 1 absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members present, we have the necessary numbers to proceed with today's session. Let the record reflect that Senator Calvo is hereby excused for today's session. Before we move further, allow me to recognize some of our Senate support staff, our LB staff. We got Senate Clerk Dolores Bermudez. We got our legal counsel, Antelet Villagomez. We got our Senior Legislative Assistant, Jolene Tagobel. We got our clerk, Miss Baby D, helping us today. We got our IT manager, or IT assistant, Mr. Delbert Camacho. We got our Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Benjamin Terlahi. We got our Youth Congress Coordinator, Mr. LJ Castro. Welcome, LB team. Before we move further, Floor Leader. Short recess. We now rise back to session. Public comments. Before we proceed, according to our rule, anyone wishing to make a public comment, please limit your comments to 5 minutes. You can submit your comments or write testimony in writing to our Sergeant at Arms if you wish to do so. Public comments is now open.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Obviously, I'm in support of the sexual assault bill, and I want to give public comment for that. So I've been chief of the criminal division of the Attorney General's office for over about 3.5 years. Now, during that time, I have helped in prosecuting sex assault and sex abuse of minor cases. And these cases, sex assault and sex abuse of minor, are some of the hardest offenses to prosecute, primarily because these offenses are usually committed in private. There's often little or no corroborating evidence, and it's usually one person's word against another. The onus is on the Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a defendant is guilty, and the defendant is not required to prove innocence. That is why we wanted to update the sexual abuse of a minor statute to enable better prosecutions. These updates are not controversial. They are needed. This bill does not expand the prosecutor's power. It actually expands protections for minors. Another reason this bill is important and needed to be passed is it will help victims and prosecutions not 2 years from now, not 5 years from now, but it can help now, today. You should know that our office gets calls about these types of cases every week. There are statistics in the findings and purpose, but those statistics don't reflect cases that haven't made it to our office or cases that we cannot even charge because our current laws do not allow for it. For example, if a 40-year-old person is dating a 16-year-old child and that 40-year-old person is not a household member or in a position of authority, I can't charge that case. Under the current statute, there is nothing that I can do. That person cannot be charged.
Sir, 1 second, please. Yeah. Whoever has their phone on, please switch it off. Thank you.
For example, if a 40-year-old person is dating a 16-year-old child and that 40-year-old person is not a household member or in a position of authority, I cannot charge that case. Under the current statute, there is nothing that I can do. That person cannot be charged. Because under the old statute, the perpetrator had to be in a position of authority or a family member. The old bill does not protect our children from complete strangers. The bill that we are proposing now changes that. And also we added section 1314 in the bill. We also added 1314, unlawful exploitation and voyeurism. This is absolutely needed. Section 1340 addresses issues that we couldn't before because it did not exist. Under this bill, we can now charge someone for being a peeping Tom. We couldn't before. We can now charge someone for recording someone without their consent. We couldn't before. We can now charge someone who releases a sex tape or pictures without consent. We couldn't before. And we can now charge someone for revenge porn, someone who threatens an ex-partner with release of sex tapes or pictures in order to get revenge. We couldn't charge that before. Section 1314 addresses these issues that our law didn't before. Again, this bill should be seen as a well-needed update of the previous bill. The previous bill focused on children exposed to family members and people in positions of authority. We moved away from that because children these days are meeting people not only in schools or at family barbecues, but online and on social media. The previous bill doesn't account for the use of technology in our children and in our adults' lives. This bill does. So I would like to say thank you to all of you, and I ask that you support this bill. I can't urge you enough. This has been a long road. We've been trying to get this bill passed for a long time. We have the coalition here, DPS and DYS, and all I can say is that this is really important, and I've been fighting for this for a long time, so I urge that you support this, and I would like to say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can you please state your phone name for the record? Thank you.
Yes, I'm Chester Hines, Chief Prosecutor at the Attorney General's Office.
Thank you, Chester. Anybody else wishing to make a statement? Please state your full name for the record.
Vivian Sablan, Administrator for the Division of Youth Services.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Senate President Mendiola, members of the Senate, and thank you for the opportunity to be heard today. Again, my name is Vivian T. Sablan, Administrator for DYS. I am here to speak in support of House Bill 24-1, which seeks to strengthen protections for our children by updating our sexual offense laws, particularly those related to sexual abuse of minors. At the DCCA Division of Youth Services, we are responsible for safeguarding the welfare of the Commonwealth's most vulnerable, our children. The data we see every day makes it clear. This legislation is needed now more than ever. In fiscal year 2024, there were a total of 535 child abuse and neglect cases across the CNMI. And to break that down, 509 of these cases were reported on Saipan, 9 cases in Tinian, and 17 cases in Rhoda. Out of those, there were 93 sexual abuse cases on Saipan, 5 on Tinian, and 4 on Rhoda, for a total of 102 reports of sexual abuse of a minor in one given year. In addition, we received 2 reports of sexual assault involving 2 minors, 1 case of indecent exposure involving a child, and already in 2025, which is still about 90 days away from ending, as of June 30, 2025, we've recorded the following: 87 sexual abuse cases on Saipan, 2 cases of child pornography, 3 cases of digital exploitation, 3 cases of indecent exposure, 2 grooming cases, 3 sexual assault cases involving minors, and 1 sexual harassment case. Tinian, although has reported 13 cases so far this fiscal year, there has been no report of sexual abuse. However, on Rhoda, we have 2 confirmed sexual abuse cases for this current fiscal year. These are not just numbers, these are children. These are children who may be known to us through family ties, friends, or they might be our next door neighbors. But regardless of where they are coming from, they are children who need us to step up and make our laws stronger, clearer, and more protective. House Bill 24-1 updates outdated provisions, includes new protections like banning sexual acts between students and those in positions of authority, and introduces long overdue terms like grooming, voyeurism, and digital exploitation. These are the realities our children are facing today, and our laws must catch up. We cannot continue to respond with old tools to a growing problem. The passage of this bill shows our children that we know what's happening, but most importantly, that we are doing something about it. On behalf of the DCCA Division of Youth Services, I want to thank our partners who are also present in the room today and this legislative body for leading this effort. We are committed to working closely with you as this bill moves forward and to ensure that the safety, dignity, and future of our children remain a top priority. Thank you for your time and standing with the children of our and families of the CNMI.
Thank you, ma'am. Floor is still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon, members of the Senate. My name is Franny Demapon, and I am an Assistant Attorney General with the Criminal Division. I, along with Chief Prosecutor Chester Hines, handle some of the Commonwealth's most serious and sensitive cases involving sexual assault, sexual abuse of minors, child abuse, and felony-level domestic violence cases. I am here today to express my strong support for House Bill 24-1 HS1, which proposes essential and long overdue revisions to our sexual assault and abuse statutes. These reforms are not merely symbolic. They are critical to our ability to prosecute dangerous offenders, protect vulnerable victims, and close glaring legal loopholes that have allowed too many cases to fall through the cracks. There are real-world impacts of outdated statutes. When DPS forwards a sexual assault case to our office, we as prosecutors must make a decision. Do we accept or decline prosecution? All too often, the answer is heartbreaking. We have declined cases not because the victim was unwilling to participate, not because the parents refused to cooperate, and not because we lacked credible evidence of the abuse, but simply because our current statutes do not criminalize the conduct due to narrow definitions, outdated age thresholds, or statutory gaps that ignore power dynamics. I have personally sat in our office conference room across from victims and their families, some of them children, having to explain why we could not file charges.
You can take your time.
These are painful conversations no prosecutor should have to initiate, and no victim should have to endure. These legal gaps send a dangerous message to the community that certain forms of sexual abuse are not subject to prosecution in our jurisdiction. House Bill 24-1 reflects years of collaboration between the Attorney General's Office, DPS, DYS Child Protective Services, schools, the sexual assault response team spearheaded by the coalition, healthcare professionals, survivors, and community members across all 3 islands. You will see that we have been very diligent before we have proposed this legislation before this body. This bill raises the age of protection from under 13 to under 15, with graduated age differences for offenders up to age 21 and older, providing much needed clarity and broader protection. It criminalizes sexual misconduct by school employees and contractors, finally recognizing and prohibiting the abuse of authority within educational institutions. It introduces a comprehensive voyeurism statute addressing growing concerns about privacy violations, especially in the digital age, and that's something that the CNMI law currently fails to do. It clarifies key definitions like consent, sexual contact, and voyeurism to better reflect how these crimes actually occur in real life. And it strengthens sentencing and parole provisions for egregious acts, recognizing the lifelong harm that these offenses inflict on victims. No law is perfect. This bill is not perfect. But this bill is a critical and proactive step, one rooted in experience, in numerous consultations, and the realities we face on the front lines. It reflects what we have learned from failed prosecutions, survivor stories, and the legal limitations that have tied our hands for too long. This is not just about updating language in the code. It is about restoring faith in the justice system for survivors. It is about ensuring accountability for those who commit sexual violence. And it's about building a legal framework that finally reflects the values of protection, dignity, and justice for all. I respectfully urge this body to pass House Bill 24-1. It is thoughtful, responsive legislation that empowers law enforcement, prosecutors, and the community to better address sexual violence and safeguard our most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Floor is still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Kiki Igatol Benjamin. Good afternoon, Hafidades and Tiro, Honorable Senate President, and esteemed senators of the 24th Northern Marianas Commonwealth Legislature. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the presence of our dedicated champions gathered in the gallery today, including members of the Sexual Assault Response Team, representatives from the Office of the Attorney General, the Division of Youth Services, the Department of Public Safety, and the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, as well as our dedicated advocates and resilient survivors from our community who are joining us in person and virtually. Again, my name is Kiki Igatol Benjamin. I am the Associate Director at the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. However, today I appear before you as a survivor of sexual abuse and sexual assault, and also as a passionate advocate for our youth and all victims and survivors impacted by sexual abuse and sexual assault. I am here to express my strong support for House Bill 24-1 HS1, which seeks to update the statute regarding sexual abuse of minors, voyeurism, and unlawful exploitation. This bill is essential for enhancing the safety and well-being of our community. For nearly 20 years, I have had the privilege of working alongside survivors whose powerful narratives of pain and perseverance have profoundly impacted and influenced me, and continues to guide the mission of the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. One of the most rewarding aspects of our efforts at the Coalition is engaging with youth across the CNMI on Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. Through our educational and outreach initiatives, we emphasize the importance of consent, personal boundaries, and both physical and emotional safety. We discuss personal values, the meaning of respect, and how to recognize and report instances of sexual assault and harassment. We also provide critical resources, promote self-empowerment and peer advocacy. The other part of our job is also the heartbreaking aspect of our role. When we are working with children who step forward and courageously share their traumatic experiences of sexual abuse. We have witnessed countless emotional testimonies from young people, stories filled with pain that no child should ever have to endure. We have encountered many parents, guardians, and members of our community who are understandably frustrated and in many cases completely outraged that the current statute denies victims the justice they rightfully deserve. This issue stems from flaws, loopholes, and unclear language in the statute established 24 years ago. It is evident that this legislation requires modernization. Each section of House Bill 24-1 HS1 reflects a thoughtful input from our youth, parents, advocates, first responders, and service providers across our islands on Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. This bill embodies many years of courageous dialogue and a commitment to transformative change. House Bill 24-1 HS1 aims to enhance essential protections for our children and facilitate effective prosecutions. It is important to highlight that the current statute primarily addresses the vulnerabilities of children to family members and authority figures. However, as we know, our world has evolved. Children are now interacting with people not just in traditional settings like schools and community events, but also increasingly through online platforms and social media. The current law does not adequately account for the impacts of technology on the lives of both children and adults, leaving critical gaps in protections. Your support for this bill is vital in safeguarding our youth and ensuring our laws reflect modern realities. As leaders and caring citizens, we carry a significant responsibility to foster protective environments for our children, ensuring that perpetrators are held accountable and that we make it more so difficult for perpetrators to inflict further harm in our community. In light of the statistics that DYS had shared and the increasing reports of sexual abuse and assault, we urge you to ensure that such offensive behaviors and crimes will no longer be tolerated in our cherished CNMI. Therefore, honorable senators of the CNMI respectfully urge you to pass House Bill 24-1 HS1 on your order of business set before you today. Thank you, Sizus Masi Hiliso, for your unwavering leadership, dedication, and crucial work in our community.
Thank you, ma'am. Floor is still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon, Hafide Tado. My name is Macy B. Tenorio, and I am the Executive Director of the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. And I, along with my passionate colleagues, are here to support House Bill 24-1 HS1. And as you've heard from the amazing advocates that work at the Division of Youth Services, the Department of Public Safety, the Office of the Attorney General, and at the Coalition, this has been a collaborative and collective effort spanning a number of years. We have worked so closely together, sometimes meeting weekly, and meeting with every single person that we thought could provide input or that was important, most particularly our youth and parents and guardians, to come up with this critical update to our sexual assault and sexual abuse statutes. And as you know, the coalition has spoken publicly many times in support of this bill, bringing voice to the often silenced voices of victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault. We are here again to urge you to support policy that reflects our shared commitment to our people here in the Commonwealth. As you know, again, we're here in support of this bill, so I'm going to use my short, brief time to address some of the concerns that we have heard about this bill. So first, there is concern over the impact of this bill on those that may be falsely accused. To be clear, this bill is about protecting children from predatory and harmful adults. Research shows that false reporting is at minimum 2 or 3% of cases and at maximum 7%. This means that 93 to 97% of cases are substantiated. Additionally, data demonstrates that sexual assault and abuse crimes are vastly underreported, and that Asians and Pacific Islanders, our people, are among the least likely to report. And we can be here all day talking about all the reasons why that is. But it's also important to realize that policymakers and local leaders who focus on protecting a very small part of the population at the risk of allowing harm to come to hundreds of children in the CNMI are also an issue. Second, there is a concern that Section 1308, which addresses unlawful sexual acts against students, is unnecessary and that it only targets a certain population or a certain age group. And again, let me be absolutely clear. It is never okay for a teacher, a school counselor, or any school official or employees to groom or sexually abuse a student. There's no such thing as a relationship between educators or people in power and children. It is critical that we focus our message and our action to the passage of this bill, that the role of adults in the lives of children should be one of protection from harm, not causing harm. And again, I think it's really critical for all of us in positions of power here in our Commonwealth to reflect on the reasons why sexual abuse and sexual assault continue to occur within our community. Are we truly a community of unity, family, and respect? Why are our children and other vulnerable populations, like people with disabilities, continuing to experience harm? And continuing to experience harm and unable to speak out and reach out for help. We continue to hear from many in our community that victims should report. Victims need to speak out. Victims need to reach out and talk to other people. Yet many victims don't feel that they can. And when many victims do, as you heard from the Office of the Attorney General and DYS and Kiki from the coalition, that they are often met with judgment or laws that cannot provide the protection and support that they need and deserve. So again, this bill brings a critical update to our statutes. There was some conversation that our statute is only 10 years old, when in fact it is not. The last update to our statute was in 2001. So this is long overdue. And again, we urge you to support the bill. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Floor is still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Buenos dias, or buenas tardes. Inalnu si Andrew Taimanyo. Wahu mu manenia esti Special Victims Investigation Unit ki DPS. Ungan todo esti mamensiona gof magahit. Man masusesedi esti siya pagun gi presenti. Esta matui ora patatulai ka esti nalai. Kai gizu gini so supopota esti nabio. So fafaisi namzo na ina suji data supota data pasa esti nabio. Jesus Masi.
Jesus Mossy, Mr. Taimanyo. Floor is still open. If there's no other comment,
Thank you. I think I could. Half a day. Saying good afternoon,
good afternoon.
President and members of this honorable body. Kulan admin timanali no. Pwede molik todo isti man mamela siya sa utungan naman makat sa kasi bentista yung tetema para ser of na kaigizu gini lo. Antes di biano mo na malaguzu na bayho na ilokino undang kulo na sizus maasi i persistence, i advocacy in domestic no violence and sexual abuses para i organizations and the Attorney General needs unya diligence no ogof comprendesti i za ufafese namzu pensipota magaz in process i House Bill 24-1 in its final form sa no importantisti na octu para comunidata no dikiki comunidata bulman masasiedi lo importante na i famaguon sa ni famalawan especialmente zanti famalawan na loki wala lahi na ugwaha no kampo ni sinya umanguko ilay na mangagigifyon niya sa bulag ito ta maninafekta nesti gwalo ki galon familia siya sa Jesus masin nesti sa gagizo ki pabisuporta si tutungo na po gagisi ginabiyaw lo gagizo gwini put uno na artikulo ikota ni gini ni Moran's Public Land Trust no dispensa finani na go siliana sa Blonhoff Schneider gagizo gwini kumugwahu zan kumu i gumelului matua Council for Native Chamor Advancement kula na stodbazos tinakota no sa mangogogo i gobyerno no si Governor Arno Palacios no Honorable Arno Palacios 29 milyon talo pero azo gi Moran's Public Land Trust i salapi no ifenka si tototano gini ya latsa man matototsungit puri zi 15 milyon pues utungan na gwazo niya no report i Secretary of Finance ni i-update ni offer mano inapasi niya iginagagaw na oktu in posa ginigi mapus na sakan ginagagaw na debi i kumumalum i emergency reimbursement or offer na salapi gini ni federal debi no maaposi galom 30 dias i obligaw maaposi gobyerno aposi tati Moran's Public Land Trust ni debi niya no gwahagi zunya report ginigi mapus na 2024 citizen centric report asasangan na gwa 15 million gi 2024 no za tiape polo alum edzi nuevo na loan so i 15 million gizizi fineni na linya na taza balansa so i 8 na 15 million malaguzo na an inconsiderasti para sa necesita in noi octu in noi autoridad i MPOT ni poro consigis timona so gaigizo gini sa tiu supopot tayo no i gobyerno tisinya masyado na gobernamento tisinya na para kada no tinahong buksan niya izo niya operations sa technically operations at mauusas tina para i settlement fund tatungo sa fa society ni settlement fund no para fa taripiti no idzigi na papa anagwan ne it's the best sunshine ni maksa no idzigi na makonsigis mona sa po di settlement fund matuy sa lapi i gobyerno tiya na impas i offer obligasyon niya pues pago kararato man manggago 15 million pago 29 million ma-include talo para settlement fund nisita ta fampara no manhono ato MPOT para i obligasyon ni gobyerno importante MPOT na ibalua offer i aktu ginagagogi ani mapasa i covenant gi public law gi March 24, 1976 debino atan edzuna salapi sa 17.5 million para tinian no 2 milyon para no istitanapak papa ni kagi American Memorial Park zani i troop store zan 20 milyon para noos an tintingo fa noos gizazi FD Farallon de Mendeniza No importante na ta bire totti basic za taatan. Offer ginagawa niya isinasalapi zan para hofa isinasalapi. Sa disipogo na dia, toza ni uno giza ita ni diretsu no na tototono zan nigi loki ni sita ta pula sti odzi diretsu. Who are the people in the covenant? Sa nun ata ni covenant asasangan the people of the Northern Marianas. A constitution, which is a constitution senior ta contra constitution, a constitution at this point, both Constitution 1 and Constitution 2, certain provision of that constitution is unconstitutional. So decolonization and the self-determination of Itautotano, Itamoro, tarabiati makukumple. Just 50 years, 50 years, no años, desde na mapasa, no. So, gaya so gini pa bisanganem, so por favor, no, na hono tati gila masa gi 703 sa ma-provide sa na provision gi covenant gi 703 the U.S. Congress delegate pago si Congresswoman King Hines at sotsuni kina mona tafan matsotsu si delegate Hines King Hines umapasa mona often isisidot niya i-operations zan of obligasyon niya i-maranas parewa hospital, eskwela, i-pulusiya, todo enforcement sa nigi ta fitma for a progressively higher standard of living. Are we? That's the last question. So, binapara sa Binanga, so tunga na ma-refer tayo din na kata-gato gi fiscal affairs sa Binanga Stedzo. Lo fa-facing namzo na klaro kwanto inapasinya sta ni 15 million. Often, man malang manu sa office na debi na para i-Marans Public Land Trust po fana italo sa tidebi. I-debi of Marans Public Land Trust po tsogi is po ligo is 77 million plus 5 million pago, which is a total of 80 plus million. Nesta ma-distribute niste na pisong kongreso y legislatura ni salapi totano na often natin man manon na totano ni salapi niya sa bula man sasaga bula man mamatay bula man ahono pochutano sa makat. So ennoa ti binamigagay policies to ochubeno za dangkulan si Jesus maasi po di intention mizo za tarafan pandispasyo di tafan dispasyo ni tamano ta aleglasti sa tibula i 200 million. You know, the Department of Public Land, taina sa dumada niya sa according to the Supreme Court ruling, lang niya co-trustee. And also cross-trustee, amzo co-trustee. Samzo fumatitina sila ni pen-enable i-distribution then i-management of the trust fund. And taso trust ni, debi taso Marianas Public Land Trust, Marianas Department of Marianas land, ontis, no Marianas Public Land, no ti Marianas Public Land ito. Chamorland, za debita na comprendi za ta bireta tigi covenant, za ta fan mataotsung papa sa ista for your information, ista pago no muzungzo publicly muzungzo manaliligozo abogado ni izonya no istigi no fafazinya pero azura tamano ito totano no patafama decolonize full decolonization zo mananalo tati sa lapis ni tano sa tazo totoizo sinya po fana isa lapis ng tano tototano.
Please wrap it up, ma'am. Thank you. Public comment still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Hopefully, Prams todo no Senate President na dispensa sa guida presidente. Sabi na yung na honorably praguisa. Then no Senator Castro, then Senator Schneider, Senator Cruz, then Senator Manglonia, then Senator King, then Senator Babauta. Then na mani kung ganozong siya na tototano no hopefully ang Prams todo loki. I'm gonna speak in English. My Liana Schneider, spoke against. We're not supporting this Senate communication number 2481, referral to FA committee regarding MPOT letter regarding loan investment $29 million on pension obligation. Mr. President, then members of this honorable body. First of all, it's nice to come back here. I really miss it. But at times, when I come over here and I speak my mind freely under the United States Constitution, under the Cinema Constitution to free speech, a lot of times maybe 99.9%, we were not considered, not only in this body, but in the House of Representatives and the executive branch. And we've been doing this for many years. And it's very important that I hope that Governor Palacios have the time to listen to this hearing. And I know my good honorable legal counsel there for the executive branch back there. He's here to listen, so that's why I speak in English so he can understand too. It's very strategically, politically, and constitutionally, and to arouse our community, our islanders here and abroad, to put pension obligation. Let's focus on this pension obligation. Members of the Senate body, we've heard this when they want us desecrate. They have desecrated our government, former governors, core members of the legislature, and all that did not stood up to prevent that desecration of close to over 1,000 Tototano, our ancestral archaeological that was found. And the reason I keep going back, because one of the driving force of this casino to be built on top of that is not only to build casino. There's a motive behind for our government to desecrate our first ever in the Mariana Islands, the biggest archaeological site. And you can ask, unfortunately, we have to pray for our local archaeologist, Mike Fleming, because he was involved with this area. He knows this, and another colleague. But we need to pay the retirement, the pension. I'm disturbed how we did not have $1 billion. Allegedly, I read on the newspaper, and I want to have financial statement from our government, and hopefully the federal government. Where did we spend this $500 million or more dollars that we still have to come back with pension obligation? You know what, Mr. President? You know what the governor is doing? And if you guys, if your honorable body pass this, un fagagagay tototano. Chamorro na, there's only two things: fa-toto or fagaga. Basta man mafagaga. We're tired of this. Where did this $500 million went? And we're gonna fight against the retirees. You're putting the Matua Council for Native Chamorro Advancements, who has been in existence for many, many years, and I'm one of the advisor. But I come here as a consultant. You know, Mr. President, we have to stop this. Was that Mr. President? Okay, thank you, Mr. President. But I'll just remind myself to very important person in our government remind me, Richard, don't get mad. It's really true. I shouldn't get mad because I'm high blood pressure. I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm still going. And Esther Munia, we should scrutinize her medical referral back there. Why are they operating this fiasco in the medical referral? And Mr. President, I wanna, you don't have to admonish me for get off track. But she's here.
Stick to the
Yes, that's
agenda.
right, Mr. President. This is the only time the people can hear me. And
We
these
still
members
have to
about-
stick to the agenda, Mr. Schneider, please.
Mr. President, mga mapasis ti $29 million na pension. Por favor. Sa kumwesti na body ne, if the governor fagagagay sa muro ne, then this body, if you consented, then fagagagaham. Sa amin pa, we're the one gonna fight against the pension obligation the retirees.
Wrap it up.
Mr. President, I'll wrap it up in 1 minute. Since 1991, there's some Chamorros back here that don't have homestead. Up to last year of October 2024, I went to DPL. 1,400 some na Chamorro don't have land here in Saipan. And you can verify that if it's growing up or going down. We gotta stop this land transfer and any transfer of funds, because our people are dying from cancer, heart disease. They need the money to pay to go off island. And that's the one we should focus on.
Your time's up, Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. President. And lastly, start paying back the $80 million to the beneficiaries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public comments still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Buenas tardes, Señor Presidente, dan membron ipiso ning Kongreso Sanilo, Senador, Senadoras, Guahu si Joseph Mundo Castro. Matujo magi para sa protesti na proposito 2438, a bill for an act to rename the boarding safety building under Jose Camacho Sablan, aka Badet. Jahu, I like the sign that our Honorable Mayor R.B. Camacho put along the road. If you see something, say something. In 2009, I saw something, and I make a recommendation to the 16th legislature, to the former congressman, a cousin of mine, Ray Palacios, and the Honorable Congressman Sylvester Iguel from Tanapak. I was a retiree, and I'm still retiree from Department of Public Safety. I left Department of Public Safety in 1990, and I came back to serve under the pleasure of the late Honorable Ferlan C. Tenorio and Jesse Bora. When I got into public safety, I met with the United States Coast Guard, and they asked me a question: why DPS didn't apply the 1990 boarding recreational funding? I told the United States Coast Guard representative in my office, sir, I'm sorry I don't look back. Whatever happened in 1990 is gone. I'm moving forward. Any federal grant that will come into my watch, I will take and work for my people. And that's exactly what I did. So boarding safety facility down there, I was the one who signed the contract as a commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. But I never tried to ask anybody to name that place for me. I don't need that. But I look back at history, honorable senators and senadoras, and I found one person, and this is while I was in Washington State. One night, I thought that Jose C. Sablan should be named on that building. When DPS don't have the resources, he managed to coordinate things and go out and rescue people and train DPS personnel. That thing is within my mind up to this point. This is not new. 2009 and the last previous legislature, 21st legislature, I brought it to the attention of Congressman Manny Castro and BJ Atto with a joint signature. Retired now Commissioner Anthony Macoronas. We signed a letter. And I kept following this concern because it's still bothering me. I cannot sleep. I want to see this happen. The evidence, the things that are written in this proposed bill speak to itself. I don't need to elaborate other than to ask you, bindisi por favor, data onray tauto ni masopit. Gina tempo at that time, he sacrificed his life. He goes down to the water and retrieve dead bodies. I was with him when we retrieved the dead body of the Yakuza that was down in Banzai. I was on the boat. I cannot go down because definitely I will not come back because I'm not a diver.
1 minute.
But
Mr. Castro. 1 minute.
Mr. Sablan did his best. So I only ask, ugagago hamzu, ikonsiderasyon mizu, za inafan magem hamzu, za im naisti bendisyon. Hamzu kumugoti, minalago este na proposito. Una kinimprende ko ginin uno na padgon na si Mr. Sablan, assistant chief, ipomaminda do manalon ni GBADE eke jangin mangkontentuam zo talo si Jus Mosi angwa question mizo listo zo bi opem zo.
Jesus Masi, Mr. Castro. The floor is still open.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dispensa magay. Talo go Siliana Sablan Hofschneider. Gaigizu gini pabi.
Ms. Hofschneider, if you're going to make a comment on the
Yeah.
same portion of the agenda or a
No,
different?
this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No importante na para bi togi gini sa no kumugo no tselun the late DPS Commissioner no Director Pago Commissioner Mafananan building gi papa o CM Sablan gi pulisya no ungan magait o goftungo so supoputay si Senate Bill 2431 ma introduce gas dispensa magay neto title o angoko gas Senator Manny Gregory Castro no usupoputay si so goftungo si bade no gwahu izunya no maid of honor ani po asagwa zan si Lucy za no goftungo magay si bade no todo hi nanononya za o anya sasangan si no Uncle Joe no ifinapos niya ungan magay sa gwani ungok siya storya mangwento si pulisya za importante na ta na itauto onra za ta na no antes de no ta sige mo na inapabisangan so na I'm in support of Senate Bill 2431 and I ask for your consideration. Just masi.
Thank you, Ms. Hofschneider. Floor is still open. Please state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Anthony Imacronis. I am the DPS
Afternoon.
Commissioner. I'm here before you to ask for your support for House Communication 24-34. This in regards to naming the Marine Patrol building as the Jose Camacho Sablan building. Retired Assistant Chief Jose Sablan is a mentor. He's a colleague. And most of all, he's a best friend
Mr.
of...
Macaranas, just for correction and for
yes.
record purposes, I think it's Senate Communication.
Okay. I stand to be corrected, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
I come before you to ask for your utmost support to giving this honorable person his name to be blessed to that building. As Mr. Castro had mentioned earlier, he's the founder of the program that started the boating safety program, and I support his intent. The other thing too is it's been an honor for Mr. Sablan to be given that opportunity to name a building that he started from the beginning. So again, I ask before all of you and your colleagues to please support this in naming that building and make it possible. I appreciate. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Macaranas. Commissioner, for correction purposes, I just want to make sure that it's clear. It's Senate Bill number 24-38 to rename DPS Boating Safety Building, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
I
want to
stand-
make sure,
yeah,
because I
stand
said
corrected.
communication as well, and I was
All right.
making
Stand
sure it's the
corrected,
bill.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Floor is still open. If there's no more comments, I now close the public comment of this, of the agenda. Moving on, item C of the agenda, reading and approval of the journal, there's none. Item D, we got messages from the governor, clerk.
Mr. President, we have 6 on our agenda, 2449 to 54.
Thank you, clerk. Any messages from the members? Moving on, item E, communication from judiciary. There's none. Item F, communication from the heads of executive department heads. There's none. Item G, communication from the House. Clerk.
Mr. President, we have 9 on our agenda, 2433 to 41.
Thank you, clerk. Any statements from the members? Moving on, item H of the agenda, communication from the Senate. Clerk.
We have 2479 to 83, Mr. President.
Thank you, clerk. Any statements from the members? Moving on, item I, communication from the CNMI delegate. There's none. Unfinished business. There's none. Pre-filed bill, initiative, local bill, and resolutions. I recognize Senator Manny Castro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Formally introducing Senate Bill 24-38 to rename the DPS Boating Safety Building to the Jose Komatsu Sablan Boating Safety Station in recognition of his contributions and dedication to ensuring the safety to the public, the safety of the public in the surrounding waters of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Moving on, I would like to formally introduce Senate Bill number 24-39 to amend 2 CMC subsection 4144 so that it's consistent with the 150 limit provided in 1 CMC subsection 21-08 or 2106. Another bill, I'm formally introducing Senate Bill number 2440 to amend 9 CMC subsection 3114 by requiring the Department of Public Safety's rules and regulations regarding commercial vehicles to be consistent of that of the federal government. Just brief message on these two communications is really, I'd just like to, Senate Bill 24-40, I'd just like to recognize the previous author, Representative Marissa Flores. This is pretty much a straightforward bill. It's pretty much just ensuring that regulations are consistent, given that the motor carrier is heavily funded by the federal government. That's it. Moving on. Item L. Recognize Senator Donald Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introducing Senate Bill 2441 to establish a Child Abuse and Neglect Central Registry in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Recognize Senator Manny Castro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Formally introducing a Senate legislative initiative to amend Article 2, Sections 2, 3, and 6 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands to reduce the number of members in the Senate to 6 and the House of Representatives to 7, to elect the members of the House of Representatives at large, and to authorize the members of the legislature to enact local laws concurrently with the municipal council members, and to authorize the lieutenant governor to vote in the Senate when there is a tie and for other purposes.
I recognize your bravery, Senator Castro. Moving on, recognize Floor Leader. I'm sorry, take that back. Recognize Senator Magofnia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to introduce Senate Resolution number 2406 to disapprove the Executive Order number 2025-002 to transfer authority for the supervision of casino gaming from the Commonwealth Casino Commission to the Commonwealth Lottery Commission pursuant to NMI Constitution Article 3, Section 15. And if I may, Mr. President, I'd like to provide some background on this resolution.
You sure? You sure may.
Thank you. So this is the Governor's Executive Order number 2025-002, which is offering to transfer the authority for supervision of casino gaming from the Commonwealth Casino Commission to the Commonwealth Lottery Commission. As stated in Section 1 of the Executive Order, the duties and responsibilities of the Casino Commission are transferred to the Lottery Commission. The authority to enforce the casino license agreement and the exclusive casino license are also transferred to the Lottery Commission. The casino commissioners are removed for cause, and the casino commissioners are replaced with the Lottery Commission commissioners. The Senate Gaming Committee held 2 committee meetings to review, discuss, and receive comments from the public, from the Casino Commission, the Senate Legal Counsel on the impact of the transfer of both the Casino Commission and the Lottery Commission. The Governor cites NMI Constitution Article 3, Section 15 as his authority to transfer the Casino Commission to the Lottery Commission. While it is clear that the Governor does have authority to make changes in the allocation of the executive branch agencies, there are limits to that authority as established by the CNMI Supreme Court in the case Torres versus Commonwealth. The court essentially held that if an executive order significantly changes the administration of an agency, nullifies existing statutes, and or creates a new agency, then the executive order may infringe on the legislature's authority to legislate. Executive Order 2025-2 not only transfers the duties and responsibilities of the Casino Commission to the Lottery Commission, but it terminated for cause the existing Casino Commission commissioners and replaced them with the Lottery Commission commissioners who do not qualify as commissioners under 4 CMC subsection 2313. The Lottery Commission has 4 members with 3 department heads and the elected Attorney General. The fact that the Lottery Commission commissioners will replace the Casino Commission commissioners...
Madam Chair, I'm sorry if I may. Can you just hold off on where you left off, and I'm just gonna have you continue when we go to the committee report discussion portion
no
of the
problem,
committee report,
President.
just so that we can move to
Okay.
suspend the rules.
Okay.
So just hold off when we get to the committee report and we move for the adoption of the committee report. I'll have you finish off on the discussion portion. Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move to suspend pertinent rules to place Senate Resolution 2406 in today's resolution calendar for action.
Second.
There is a motion offered by the floor leader to place Senate Resolution number 24-02 on today's resolution calendar, and it's been seconded. Any discussions by the members? All in favor of that motion say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, I'm gonna go back and we're gonna roll call that. Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta?
Excuse me, Mr. President, what are we voting on? Clarification, please?
The resolution
Resolution to be
to move
placed
it
on
to bill calendar for today.
calendar for action
For
today?
action, yes.
My vote will be no.
Senator Castro?
Ungan.
Senator Cruz? Senator Hofschneider?
Ungan.
Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofnia?
Yes.
Senator Manglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, 7 members voting yes, 1 member no, 1 absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With 7 members voting yes, resolution 24-02 is hereby moved to bill resolution calendar for today for action. Moving on.
Sorry, Mr. President, correction, it's Senate Resolution 24-6. Yes. I think he stated 2, 24-2.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna go back and restart that motion because the number that we voted on was incorrect. So we're gonna make sure that it's correct. Recognize the floor leader.
Once again, Mr. President, I move to suspend pertinent rules to place Senate Resolution 2406 on today's resolution calendar for action.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. There is a motion offered by the floor leader to place Senate Resolution number 24-06 in today's resolution calendar, and it was seconded. Discussion.
Ready.
Recognize Senator Babauta.
Mr. President, if I heard correctly from the floor leader, the motion is to suspend pertinent rules.
And to place on.
Are those two separate motions or?
It's the same. Because I'm gonna have to call for adoption.
Yes.
Yes. After.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's one motion to place and to suspend
And
pertinent
place.
So we're
rules.
compiling it into one motion.
Correct.
Okay. I'm ready to vote.
Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
No.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hapschneider,
None.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Banglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, 7 members voting yes, 1 no, 1 absent.
Thank you. Thank you, clerk. With 7 members voting yes to place Senate Resolution number 24-06 on today's calendar for action and to suspend the rule. Senate Resolution number 24-06 is hereby placed on today's calendar. Moving on. Item M, reports of standing committee. Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-16 from the Committee on Judiciary, Government, and Law, reporting on Senate Bill number 24-19 to amend 9 CMC Section 2208D to authorize motor vehicle licensure to all residents of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The committee recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion offered to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-16, and it was seconded. Any discussions by the members? Recognize Senator Cruz. I'm on discussion. Any discussion by the members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hapschneider,
Again.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-16 is hereby adopted. Moving on. Floor leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-17 from the Committee on Judiciary, Government, and Law, reporting on Senate Bill number 24-21 to amend 9 CMC Section 2103 to require execution of a notice of transfer and release of liability by the appropriate parties upon the ownership transfer of a vehicle. The committee recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion offered to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-17, and it was seconded. Any discussions from the members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hapschneider,
Again.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-17 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-18 from the Committee on Judiciary, Government, and Law, reporting on House Bill number 24-1 HS1 to amend provisions in Title 6, Chapter 3, Sexual Offenses, Article 1, General Provisions relating to sexual abuse, assault of minors. Committee recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion offered to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-18, and it was seconded. Any discussions from the members? Recognize Senator Neighbors.
Thank you, Senate President. I did want to say that I will be making a technical floor amendment when we get to the bill to just add Title 6, Chapter 1, Title 6, Part 1 of Chapter 3. I just wanted to make that clear for the members.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-18 is hereby adopted. Moving on. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-19 from the Committee on Judiciary, Government, and Law, reporting on House Bill number 24-2 to establish a process for the delivery of a State of the Commonwealth address to the legislature by the governor. Committee recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion offered to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-19, and it was seconded. Any discussions from the members?
Ready.
Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider, Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-19 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-20 from the Committee on Fiscal Affairs, reporting on House Bill number 24-19 to rename the CNMI Scholarship Office to the CNMI Scholarship and Financial Assistance Office. The committee recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion was offered to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-20, and it was seconded. Any discussions by the members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-20 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-21 from the Committee on Public Utilities, Transportation, and Communications, reporting on House Bill number 24-29 to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intergovernmental penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligations and for other purposes. The committee recommends passage in the form of SD1, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion was made to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-21, and it was seconded. Any discussions by the members? Recognize Senator Babalta.
This is Masi, Mr. President. I'd like to make a comment on this Senate Standing Committee report, if I may. I rise today to express my deep concern regarding the committee's recommendation to pass House Bill 24-29, Senate Draft 1, to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intergovernmental penalties and preserving enforcement debt obligations. While I understand the intent of this bill, it is to clean up the books among 2 government agencies. I cannot in good conscience ignore the broader implications of such a bill. The permanent exclusion of penalties related to CHCC's non-payment sends the wrong message, in my opinion, especially when thousands of hardworking families in our islands are being hit by skyrocketing utility costs and arbitrary fees. Let's be clear, if this bill becomes law, the effects are permanent. we are codifying special treatment for one government agency while ignoring the struggles of families who face disconnections and late fees to fend for themselves. Kada guma ginigid sa Commonwealth parewa sa pantinian zan luta. Hagasa naman manggagago asi ang konsiderasyon ginin estina no body. This is not fairness in my opinion. It is not equity. Today it's CHCC. Tomorrow it's going to be another government agency seeking relief without public accountability. Where do we draw the line? I also want to remind this body that on February 6th of this year, I introduced Senate Bill 2414, a measure that would have temporarily suspended certain fees within the fuel adjustment charge. This proposal was designed to provide immediate and across-the-board relief to all ratepayers in mind, including CHCC, but with a greater emphasis on relief for our families and our small businesses who are bearing the weight of every delinquent government agency and trying to weather this economic crisis not of their own doing. Families who face power disconnections for as little as $50 in arrears are expected to keep paying more for less. They're pleading for us to prioritize their needs. So I urge my colleagues to consider the fact that this legislation effectively writes off millions of dollars in penalties owed by CHCC. And I didn't find in the report anywhere that, CUC will absorb this cost. Will CUC be forced to spread this financial burden across all ratepayers again? Will the general fund be tapped to backfill this shortfall? Or will this body simply ignore the deficit and hope it disappears? These are hard questions that I think, as a legislator, I feel must be answered before I can support such a bill. While I would really like to support the goal of reconciling interagency obligations, I find it highly problematic that no official comments from CUC were presented to this body. So I urge my colleague, the good chairman of PUTC, Senator Jude Hoff-Snyder, to bring my bill forward for markup and debate. The people have spoken. They've taken it to social media, written letters spoken out publicly, begging for leadership that responds to their pain. Instead, we are choosing to act only on behalf of one government agency, while those we serve, those who elected us to this office, are left in the dark, literally and figuratively. If the goal was to address systemic issues between CHCC and CUC, then let's do it holistically, is what I am asking, and equitably. That said, I would also want to be fair to CHCC. I support their leadership in finding creative ways to increase their revenue. But again, I would like to see this addressed in a holistic manner, not in a piecemeal legislation like this. No, and definitely not on the backs of struggling families out there. Mamobli na totota. Si Diyos mo si Senior Presidente, unanalo tati tempo ko.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any other member? Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Castro.
Chair, I'll go after, I'll yield to Senator Neighbors.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Senator Neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just want to say for the record, I understand where our good senator from the 3rd Senatorial District is coming from as it relates to the plight and the suffering of all of those people, all of us users, consumers of CUC providers. See, the hospital is in a very unique position that it cannot turn away any patient. Anybody that goes to the ER, anybody that comes in with or without any kind of insurance. There was an article in the paper that they're absorbing several costs under the health program, which deals with medical referral, and it's very difficult for me, and I understand the intention of this bill. I understand where Senator Babalta is coming from. I think we can walk and chew gum. I think both things can be accomplished at the same time, but I think this is an important piece of legislation to directly assist the main medical provider in the Commonwealth with the kind of relief that they need. Obviously, because of the some of the protocols that they have in place, the air conditioning and the temperature has to stay at a certain temperature for for disease control and all these other things. They run equipment there that pull a lot more power than other entities are doing a regular office would. So there's so many things in consideration that makes the Commonwealth Health Center a very unique entity, and I don't think that they should be lumped in per se with every other line item agency under our purview. So with that, I just yield.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. I now recognize Senator Castro.
Thank you, Senate President. In looking at this bill,
You have a minute since you used your time.
okay, I'll make it fast.
just
First of
kidding.
all, a lot of these charges should have been waived a long time ago. These are charges that is already like beyond uncollectible, and that's like basic accounting. Like, so the issue at a lot of these agencies is not a lineman issue, it's not a machinist issue, it's not the people, it's not an operations issue, it's a management issue. So we have issues in the leadership, and in fact, but I'm not saying we have good leaders, but some of the decisions need to be strategic. We can't just keep pumping money into something. I'd rather pump money into the people and give them control over their utilities and just go solar. Because even in today's article, more money does not mean better results. It's what you do with that money that really makes a difference. And yes, our people are suffering. I'm suffering too. Like, I know CUC knows that because I always get the gray bills. But we really, and I just wanted to thank our chairman of the PUTC for really taking the initiative to meet with the movers and shakers in the energy realm. We have people that have been coming to Saipan that know how to fix this problem. I also wanted to thank our Senator Magofnia for introducing some legislation that's going to help decentralize some of these agencies, because we can't just keep pumping money and expecting different results. It's not going to solve the problem. But I think I ran out of that 1 minute. But at the end of the day, I'm in support of this legislation, because if you're following the generally accepted accounting principles, this should have been internally done a long time ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Magofnia.
Thank you, President. So just for clarification, this legislation is proposing to waive penalties and fees and not the principal balance of what CHC truly owes CUC. So we just need to clarify that. And second of all, I just want the public to hear that, by waiving these penalties and fees, I don't believe that there will be additional financial burden on the ratepayers, because this is not affecting the operations in any way. This is just additional fees and penalties on top of the principal balance. So I just wanted to clarify that, and not to cause any unnecessary alarm in the community, that if this bill should pass, that that CUC will impose these additional penalties and fees onto the residential ratepayers. I think it's important that we clarify that. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Senator Magofnia. Any other members? Senator Babauta, one more time.
No, Mr. President, I appreciate Senator McGovern's comments of her belief that this will not be absorbed by ratepayers, all ratepayers, but absent any comment from CUC in that committee meeting that was held, I don't believe we should, vote on someone's belief or opinion. Secondly, Senator Castro alluded to the GAP, government generally accepted accounting principles. However, it is GASB that the government practices, and I don't believe that any government has the ability or the authority to waive or what do you call it in accounting, write off any, and certainly not in the seat of my government. I know that we can't write off debt. It remains in our books unless there is legislation to do so. So I just wanted to make those comments and clarify some of the statements made by other members. And again, I stand by my principles that absent any comment from CUC, the affected government entity as to what they will do with the approximately 30, maybe $40 million in arrears and penalties imposed on CHCC, I cannot in good conscience support this bill and will reserve my support for such. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Senator Hofschneider.
Thank you, Pres. I move to end discussion and we'll talk more on bill calendar. Just call the roll.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? If none, I'm going to recognize Senator Crowell real quick.
Thank you, Senate President. And this is just to kind of wrap it all into a neat bow. If this piece of legislation was so detrimental to the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, I believe, in all honesty, that they would have come forward and provided comments when solicited regarding this piece of legislation. So if they had an issue or if there was a standing problem with it, I believe that they would have came forward and offered amendments or participated in the comment section. So I yield.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. And let me just wrap this up with my statement. The problem is it doesn't matter where you stand in the spectrum of this issue. You stand on CUC's side, there's funding to be lost. If you stand on CHCC, there's a probable risk that CHCC might increase its rate, increase any kind of charges. And again, if we talk about some of the charges, right? Not every charge is paid for. Some of these patients that come in are struggling and can't pay for their bills. So again, CHCC have to shoulder this cost. And that's where the challenge lies with CHCC. I just got a communication that the health network program that was shifted to CHCC became problematic for them because then the legislature is not giving them funding. So it's a multi-layer of issues that we need to address. And I thank the chairman for at least for his bravery on taking the lead and trying to resolve this problem. But again, it doesn't matter where we stand on the spectrum. Somebody stands to lose something. But I think when it comes down to our health, I think that's most paramount to anybody. God forbid it's one of our parents, family member that can't be taken care of in our only hospital. It's going to be problematic. I'm sure that we're going to have more people marching up here to the legislature, protesting on those issues. So I'm going to wrap this up. Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babauta?
No.
Senator Castro?
Ngan.
Senator Cruz?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider?
Mr. President, clarification. This is only the committee report, no? It's not
Yes,
big?
sir.
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofia?
Yes.
Senator Manglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, 7 members voting yes, 1 member no.
Thank you, Clerk. With 7 members voting yes, I lost what standing committee report we're at, just with the long debate. But with 7 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-21 is hereby adopted. Moving on.
Mr. President, can I have a brief recess, please?
Short recess. We now rise back into session. Members, if it's okay with you guys, if we can just jump to entertain the bill calendar for this specific standing committee report. So we got we got the staff back there waiting for this, and I'm sure it's going to be a longer debate. So if we can just jump to entertain that and go back, if that's okay with the anybody.
No objection.
To vote on the bill. We're moving to the bill calendar to vote on it. Only on that. No, not. I'm just trying to get the CHCC staff out of here. I can see their frustration back there, and yeah. So, if there's no objection, we're gonna move into that.
Mr. President, may I offer a clarification on
Go ahead.
I see also the coalition and out of these supporters of 24-1. If we can entertain that as well.
If there's no objection,
No objection.
with the members.
Thank you.
No, we raised back already.
Okay, I do have a pressing meeting that was supposed to, I'm late for, so if we could possibly just entertain the last committee report and then
Senator
move
Babauta,
to.
nobody's holding you from staying in the session. You
Yes,
can
but
go to your meeting.
I would need to make comments on the last standing committee report.
I'm gonna ask if there's no objection from the members. Majority rules. If you guys don't mind, if we may
There's
proceed.
only one other committee report.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
respectfully,
Senator.
it's understood that we're gonna convene into committee of the whole for further clarification.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason why the member is asking if we can entertain House Bill 24-1 and another House Bill that we already adopted committee report. So we can then go back to the committee report. So potentially we can have the floor leader commission a committee of the whole, so that we can request the council to further elaborate the.
Any other members
executive order.
objecting to this proposal besides Senator Babauta? Short recess. We now rise back into session. So the majority agreed to move into bill calendar so we can dispose of House Bill 24-1 and House Bill 24-29 SD1. Ready? Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move for the adoption of House Bill number 24 I move for the passage of House Bill number 24-1 HS1 to amend provisions in Title 6, Chapter 3, Sexual Offenses, Article 1, General Provisions relating to sexual abuse, assault of minors.
Good.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion offered to pass House Bill 24-1 HS1, and it's been seconded. Discussion. Recognize Senator Neighbors.
Thank you, Senator President. I wanted to just offer a technical floor amendment, again, to reference Title 6, Division 1, Chapter 3. That's just a technical amendment for the title.
Thank you. We'll just go ahead and make those amendments. It's just a technical amendment. Any other discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Yes.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hopschneider,
Again.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator
Yes.
Senator Manglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, House Bill number 24-1, HS1 with the technical amendment hereby passes the Senate. Thank you. Moving on. Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move for the passage of House Bill number 24-29, SD1, to reconcile public utility accounts between CHCC and CUC by waiving intra-governmental penalties and preserving enforceable debt obligations and for other purposes.
Second.
Again.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion offered to pass House Bill number 24-29, SD1, and it was seconded. Any discussions from the members?
Just a quick recap, Mr. President.
Recognize Senator Hofschneider.
Just referencing some of the concerns raised earlier. Just a couple of things. This is basically an accompanying legislation to which this very body supported to categorically transfer CACC's utility rates from government to commercial rate, and I want to thank the members of this body and the House for supporting that. But there's also a provision in that very legislation that actually addresses this particular proposal that we have before us. But at the time, the House elected to remove that. Therefore, producing this piece of legislation before us today. And, see Dr. Munoz here and Ms. Cabrera have been advocating for the legislature to assist our only hospital that provides for every walking resident that walk in there, whether they're a holder of an insurance, indigent, or somebody that doesn't have any insurance whatsoever, they absorb that. So all the more reason that the legislature and every other member of this government should assist, with their request to right their ship by cleaning some of their long overdue past due obligations that everybody knows in here that there's no way that you're going to be able to pay $70 million. And they're always going to be, non-marketable. They cannot even market their corporation to improve services for our people, from infrastructure to services. So this is one way, a step in the right direction to assist our CHCC. And I think, I appreciate the passion of helping the general being of our people to lower the rates, but I'm working with some members of this body to come up with a legislation to allow for that, which I will not disclose right now. And number 2 is we need to have a better economy, ladies and gentlemen. We need to work on improving the revenue in the government so that, the public programs that we can provide our people can come before us, and then we can assist the indigents with their utilities if that's what our, primary goal is. But until such time that we figure that out, this bill is one way to help those very people that we say that we're trying to help by way of their utilities. So I respectfully ask that just vote on this and move forward, and we look forward to another legislation that can continue to assist the general public. Yeah. Now you back.
Thank you, Senator Hofschneider. Any other members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
No.
Senator Castro,
Yes.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia,
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, 7 members voting yes, 1 member no, 1 absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With 7 members voting yes, House Bill number 24-29 SD1 hereby passes the Senate. Now we're going to go back to the Standing Committee report. Thank you, CHCC, for your patience. So, members, this is the part where we will dissolve into the Committee of the Whole. So, bear with me. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-22 from the Committee on Gaming, reporting on the Executive Order number 2025-002 to transfer the authority for supervision of casino gaming from the Commonwealth Casino Commission to the Commonwealth Lottery Commission. I move for its adoption.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 24-22, and it was seconded. Any discussions from the members? Recognize Floor Leader.
At this time, Mr. President, I move to resolve into Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion to resolve into the Committee of the Whole, and it was seconded. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Yes.
Senator Castro,
Yes.
Senator Cruz. Yes. Senator Hofschneider.
Good.
Senator King Neighbors.
Yes.
Senator Magofia.
Yes.
Senator Manglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes to resolve to the Committee of the Whole, we now resolve into the Committee of the Whole. Short recess.
We now rise into Committee of the Whole, and up for discussion, we have Standing Committee Report number 24-22 on the Executive Order 2025-002 to transfer the authority for supervision of casino gaming from the Commonwealth Casino Commission to the Commonwealth Lottery Commission. And I believe Senator Magofnia wanted to continue her discussion on this executive order. And so at this time, I recognize Senator Magofnia.
Thank you, Senator Donald. So resuming back into the background of the resolution, the governor's executive order not only transfers the duties and responsibilities of the Casino Commission to the Lottery Commission, but it terminated for cause the existing casino commissioners and replaced them with the Lottery Commission commissioners who do not qualify as commissioners under 4 CMC Section 2313. The Lottery Commission has 4 members with 3 department heads and the elected Attorney General. The fact that the Lottery Commission commissioners will replace the Casino Commission commissioners and are not qualified as Casino Commission commissioners significantly changes the administration of the Casino Commission and alters or nullifies sections of 4 CMC Sections 2313. The executive order also contradicts with 4 CMC Sections 2313, which states that the CCC commissioners cannot be government employees or officials. All the Lottery Commission commissioners are government officials. Section 2313 also provides that the casino commissioners can only be removed for cause. The executive order states that by transferring their duties to the Lottery Commission, the casino commissioners will no longer have duties and therefore are removed for cause. There is no stated evidence that the casino commissioners neglected their duties or committed any bad acts. In addition to the legal issues, there are many policy concerns and issues raised by the executive order, including whether the Lottery Commission members who are heads of their respective line executive departments with full-time jobs would have sufficient time to supervise the Casino Commission. Whether the Lottery Commission can efficiently and effectively supervise the Casino Commission with the Lottery Commission members who are cabinet members that are often replaced for one reason or another, or if the Lottery Commission members are not timely appointed or confirmed. It appears that the Casino Commission has not been contacted by the Lottery Commission to facilitate any smooth transition or to inquire as to any standard of care that is necessary to regulate the casino industry. The executive order raises other issues, including concerns that the EO lacks provisions governing the transfer of requisite information from the Casino Commission, including confidential documents, to the Lottery Commission. The EO lacks provision transferring Casino Commission personnel and financial information, statements and bank accounts, if any, to the Lottery Commission. Additionally, the EO will remove the Rota and Tinian membership in the Casino Commission, which is inconsistent with the legislative intent of Public Law 1856. The committee members were also concerned that the executive order creates conflict of interest for the Attorney General because the Office of the Attorney General represents the Casino Commission in all legal matters, including the IPI litigation, but is also listed as a Lottery Commission Commissioner under 1 CMC Section 9302. Whether or not the Attorney General is an active member of the Lottery Commission, it is clear that the Lottery Commission statute must be amended to clearly remove the Attorney General as a commissioner of the Lottery Commission in order to remove any perceived or actual conflict of interest. Based on the foregoing reasons, it appears that the EO creates more obstacles for the casino industry and so many unknowns and ambiguities regarding the transfer of the Casino Commission to the Lottery Commission. A better course of action would have been for all the stakeholders to come together and discuss and address amendments to the current casino law. The legislature has the constitutional authority to make substantial changes or repeal the Casino and Lottery Commission statutes as necessary in order to facilitate progress as it relates to casino gaming moving forward and to avoid any of the legal and policy concerns raised by the executive order. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Magofnia. Floor is open. Recognize Senate President.
Thank you, Floor Leader. On top of everything that Senator or the Chair in Gaming has just stated, one of the biggest things that caught my attention and is really alarming is when 1856 was created, one of the discussion was how do we protect the retirees throughout the CNMI, and this is the intent of that, the gaming industry, right? To when that 15 million was negotiated, part of that was to secure our retirees. One of the concerns that I have transferring it to the Lottery Commission is really just the protection of our retirees in the first and second senatorial district. That's the biggest concern for me, because again, elected out of the first senatorial district, and to not ensure that Rhoda and Tinian have a voice in the gaming industry, which, if you think about it, 1856 was created by the three senatorial districts, not just first or second or third. It was a one Marianas movement, and it actually benefited the CNMI as a whole, especially the retirees during the heydays of the gaming industry. To just push off an executive order and just push it over to the Lottery Commission, and if we talk about the Lottery Commission, you're looking at the Secretary of Finance, you're looking at the Secretary of Commerce, you're looking at the Commissioner of DPS, and then the Attorney General. The problem that I have with that is that now the legislature has no say in this, or the senatorial district have no say in this, and that's my concern. How do we protect Rhoda and Tinian? And now, being that the administration is elected out of the third senatorial district, it's easy to just say, any funding that comes in as a result of this litigation of IPI. We can just use that for operational purposes for the third senatorial district. Again, it's not necessarily that we don't want it for senatorial districts, but it's because we have that provision to protect the senatorial district, and that's my concern. And that's why I asked the members to stand with us, first and second senatorial district, and make sure that we're protected. Our people, our retirees are protected. Again, if we push it to the Lottery Commission, there's really no say in how these fundings are going to come in, and it's going to be spread out throughout the CNMI. So that's my biggest concern. Thank you, Floor Leader. I yield.
Thank you, Senate President. Any other members? Recognize Senator Babauta.
Cesar Mossy, Floor Leader, Winglonia. I rise in opposition of adopting this committee report to reject the Governor's Executive Order 2025-002 to transfer authority or for supervision of casino gaming from the CCC to the Lottery Commission. Let me be clear. This executive order is not a power grab. It's a strategic correction and realignment of a regulatory authority that reflects the current fiscal realities of our government and the lack of active casino operations in Saipan or the Commonwealth. We must not forget that CCC was established to regulate a single exclusive casino licensee, IPI, we all know that, which has failed in almost every measure of its obligations, financial, legal, moral obligations. IPI has brought shame to our Commonwealth, exploited our people, racked up massive unpaid debts, and sparked multiple federal and international investigations. And yet we continue to fund a regulatory agency that has no casino to regulate and no clear path to sustainability. And I would like to allude to a comment made by Senator Magofnia in her remarks, that there is no clear evidence of wrongdoing by the current casino commissioners. However, the most glaring violation in my eyes is that they did not fulfill their fiduciary duty to collect on past debt. yet they continued to allow IPI to balloon their debt to the CNMI government, and that's why we were in a position where we couldn't collect it anymore because they were not able to pay. They allowed the IPI, the lone casino, to continue operations and continue to balloon their debt to the CNMI government. I think that EO 2025-002 rightfully acknowledges this reality. The executive order proposes consolidating CCC's core functions, such as ensuring compliance, preserving investigative records, as Senator Magovnia alluded to, the investigative records, and maintaining institutional knowledge. It was, after all, the Lottery Commission who has repeatedly amended the license, the casino license for IPI. So they have institutional knowledge. Until such time, at least, the casino industry revives, if ever. This is not a dissolution, it's sound fiscal prudence and accountability, in my opinion. And opposing this executive order amounts to defending bureaucratic inertia. Are we really saying we'd rather preserve a powerless commission with no revenue stream at this point, and no viable mandate to rather than let the administration manage what is left of the casino industry wreckage imposed upon the entire Commonwealth? You know, we need to stop pretending that the current structure works. It doesn't, it hasn't. And rejecting this executive order sends the wrong message to our people, that we would rather cling to a broken system and institution rather than take bold action to correct the inefficiencies of the CCC. So I'm asking my colleagues to join me in not rejecting the EO, because it is a necessary step to clean up the regulatory mess they created and pave the way for a new, responsible, and effective governance of the casino industry here in the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, and I yield.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Recognized Vice President.
Thank you, Floor Leader. I just kind of want to put things in perspective from what was just said by our good senator from the 3rd Senatorial. If this were so pressing and the Commonwealth Casino Commission was a scourge and they had not done their fiduciary duty, why is this executive order coming out now? How long has the governor been the governor? If these issues were so eminent of a danger to the Commonwealth, why was there no letter or suggestion to the legislature to remedy these issues that are so detrimental that we're going to use our powers of executive order to move the wheels as we so want them? Those two arguments fight against each other. If so, I would think that our executive, the chief executive of our government, the governor, first item of duty upon getting into office would be to speak to the legislature to remedy the situation that was in dire need of correction. But yet here we are in July of 2025 talking about this. There's no mechanism in place for the Lottery Commission to gain the institutional knowledge. What do we mean by that when we say that? How much of the day-to-day operations are the Lottery Commission aware of? As the chairwoman of the gaming committee said, no documentations has been given. The Lottery Commission themselves were offered an opportunity to come to this chamber to testify about their ability to do the job that this executive order is asking them to do. They did not have the time to come to the Senate and explain to us anything. Yet now, I'm to believe that you have the time to do all of the things that the Commonwealth Casino Commission does while maintaining your daily job as a cabinet member of our government? I don't see the nexus. I don't see how there's a through line between those two things. As a matter of fact, I see that as an example, evidence of their inability to do both things at once. And for us to believe that they do have the time, they do have the knowledge, without even consulting them, is a very dangerous precedent for the legislative body to undertake. And with that, I yield for leader.
Any other members for the first round? I recognize Senator Castro.
There's going to be a second round? I can save it for the second round. Colleagues, I've been with you on a lot of the things, but for this vote, I actually believe the governor should do more executive orders and clean up the bloated government that we have. There's and that's also why I introduced the legislative initiative today, because if we're gonna do what Senate President, and I agree with him, we need to decentralize a lot of these processes and give more autonomy to our different municipalities. Again, there's no reason why we need 7 signatures to get a simple NOPA or PO. Those kind of things shouldn't even, the RD can handle that. So if I'm gonna practice the same, I don't necessarily agree. I don't know if it should go to the Lottery Commission. I think there's other places that we can put this in, but I do believe in synergizing resources and also I think most of our constituents that in the very beginning were against this casino, but I understand the dire situation that we were in at that time, and given the public comment made earlier, I don't agree with everything, but I agreed with some of that public comment, and the fact that we desecrated our the ancient remains of our people. We were in a dire situation, and had the Casino Commission did its due diligence to prevent this collapse, the CNMI government would have got more funds rather than the federal government taking control, and we might even get less. I'm not entirely against it, but I feel like we really need to, given our current economic situation, we need to reduce the amount of red tape in our government, and also at the same time, if there's anywhere to cut, I'd rather cut board members and commissions rather than our managers and frontline people. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Hausschneider.
Thank you, and I think the reason why that we asked for a committee of the whole, Mr. President, for leaders, for us to further understand what we're considering before us, and I think it's understood already that most of us signed off on it and we're ready to support it. But just to articulate more to the general public as to why are we doing this exercise, appreciate the chair for the extensive meetings that you've conducted, and all the comments were valid, but I think it all boils back again to us, the government as a whole, our inability to actually find a niche economy. We cannot even find ourselves to support a tourism economy that's much needed right now to this day, and we're always resort to addressing almost near a crisis situation because there's no plan for economic recovery post-COVID. It's all blame games and what should have been, could have been. But let me tell you this. If you're a member of the retirement fund and you're in the situation where they're telling you that you're not going to have your pension in 15 days, I think I want to remind everybody that because of that $30 million, we would be singing a different tune today, because there's absolutely nowhere there. And Mr. Costro, I'm glad you're here because you're a retiree. There's no solution at the time to rescue you guys. Not one, no other, not anybody that has that opportunity to come out with the financial infusion. So, you know, it whatever happened, you know, with the non-compliance and all that, and that's obviously it is where it's at today. But I always want to remind everybody that when the money was flowing in, we have CUC assistance for everybody. We had stimulus, we had land compensation being paid off, we had supplemento for PSS. We paid off substantial amount of CUC from CHCC at a total of $8 million. 100% retirees. You know, and then some. There's other elements that we continue to look the other way, saying that this industry was bad since the beginning. Bad now because they're closed. I think we should be helping them try to open up. Whether it's online, internet, or it's evident that brick and mortar is probably past that already, you know, because of foot traffic that we need. But by golly, let's not forget what this industry did for the CNMI, for the retirees, for the people. Ngayon malifa. Manadata sige mo na data areglas ta suportas ti alpha finances niya si Chairman Corina Mogofna ni pat rejects ti na iyo that would do it the right way as what was mentioned earlier. Thinking while legislation needs to come down the pipeline, then we'll make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure that, as President said, Rhoda and Tina is not left out again to that. And I want to go on record to say that if there is such payouts, I think of $12 million and some, I ask that the administration reports that so it comes to the legislature so that we can appropriate it. You know, let's not pretend that it's not going to happen. It's because it will. It's already publicly known. So, Mr. Floor Leader, I don't know if I'm appropriate to say this, but I think we're ready to roll. No? Sorry. And now you're back.
For the first round, any other members? First round? If none, for the second round, I'd like to recognize Senate President.
Thank you. And just to Senator Bauta's statement, you know, and again, sitting down here, I don't get to participate. I have to kind of, you know, make sure that decorum is held. But I just wanted to participate and say, you know, we have this habit of going back and forth and blaming. For example, we talk about CCC. I don't think CCC is the problem during the time of IPI's reign here in the CNMI. I think IPI is the problem, hence the reason why they're going through litigation. It's not fair that we're going to pass the buck and blame it on CCC, and we don't even understand fully Izunya responsibility. We don't. Nobody here can really say that they're experts when it comes to their responsibility. And those guys, again, depends on where you stand, right? The argument can be, on one side, let's get rid of CCC. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. CCC is been working for past couple years without payment. And then there's a comment that was made that, oh, we're not going to pay them because, you know, they're not a part of the government. Yet we're going to executive order them and remove them from the government and give it back to. It seems like we're kind of going in circles in this instead of addressing the actual problem. And I think it's correct. We need to go through the legislation and maybe repeal that exclusive casino. Maybe that could be the solution and open it up to more casinos. Again, There's some people that are anti-casino. Sure, that's fine. But when it comes down to revenue for the CNMI, what other source of revenue can we bring in? That's the challenge that we're presented here, is that we need revenue. But this is going on, what, the 24th legislature since the new administration has taken over. So my question is, what new revenue has been pushed out? Because here's the problem. We're looking at the new budget fiscal year again, and we're talking about borrowing money. You know, the economy is getting better, or it could be better, but yet we're borrowing money. And we're increasing the cap on the executive branch's operational budget. So it doesn't make sense. A lot of this stuff, it's every time the administration changes, we're blaming it on previous. We're blaming it on a previous governor. Problem is, really, we need to sit down and actually fix the problem versus actually, you know, pointing it at CCC. I can tell you that those guys, they work tirelessly trying to fix this problem. I heard a lot of the ridicules that, oh, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. The crane is dangerous. That's not CCC's role. Their job is really to just regulate the casino industry. But yet they carried that burden. They weren't doing their job. They weren't doing their role. As soon as IPI went in litigation, CCC couldn't revoke the license or couldn't make any action because why? It's with judicial. So they have to wait for that process to take its course. So again, the problem is, and I get it, that, you know, there's a lot of dismay out there in terms of, you know, what transpired during IPI. But the problem is we need to come together and actually fix this problem. You know, maybe offer a legislation that will open from one casino to multiple casino, or maybe just repeal the whole 1856 and there's no casino. But again, I'm gonna ask the question: so what other source of revenue can we bring in that's gonna bring us back to where we can actually sustain our operational expenditure in the executive branch? Because everything is pointing downwards. We're losing money, and we keep trying to give the executive branch the same amount of money. Doesn't make sense. So this is not a blame on anybody, but rather this is a challenge that let's come together and actually try and find the solution to this problem and stop blaming CCC. Because, I mean, if we want to do that, we can actually point ourselves. We've been in this legislature for since the 23rd. Super majority, right? We're talking about the administration, the House, the Senate, super majority, but nothing changed. We just keep pointing the finger on the previous administration. Well, it's 3 years in, and if we're going to keep pointing the finger on the previous administration, then by golly, maybe the previous administration should run the administration, because apparently they're the only ones doing something. Again, this is just for us to come together and figure out how do we fix this problem. Mr. Flair.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recognize Senator Magofnia.
Thank you, Chair. So I guess we just need to, for me, you know, while I hear the sentiments of Senators Babauta and Castro, and I agree wholeheartedly with the intent of what the governor's trying to do. We all understand that there's no activity, you know, in the casino industry. But this whole thing that we're here right now, it's not about any of that. It's about the executive order and the way it was introduced and the basis for it, right? So I think we need to focus on whether or not the way the executive order was issued and written is complied with our constitutional laws. Again, I support the governor's intent on trying to streamline the process and all of that. I think we are all on the same page when it comes to that. But the real question is whether or not it was done the proper way, right? And so you know, I've mentioned a few things on here on what this EO does, and I want the members to make note of some of the, I don't know if I say violations, but you know, the disregard of the existing law of what it mandates, right? And part of that is that you know, the casino commissioners must be terminated with cause. Well, just by simply transferring them to a different, transferring the responsibilities, the duties and responsibilities of the commission to a different body doesn't necessarily mean that that's just cause, right, for their termination. Also, the law 1856 requires that that they are not, that the commissioners should not be government employees. When we transfer these duties and responsibilities to the Lottery Commission, who are we transferring it to? We're transferring it to a body that's, government employees. Secretary of Finance, Secretary of Commerce, Commissioner of DPS, and the AG is an elected official. And so it's not a matter of whether, we don't support the governor. It's whether or not it was done the way it should have been done. And what would be the point of creating all the laws that we introduce if we ourselves are not going to follow those laws? It would be pointless. So the focus should be whether or not the executive order met, yes, the governor has every authority to issue an executive order, but with boundaries. And to me, this is where we need to focus, on whether or not the governor exceeded his authority. And colleagues, again, I humbly ask for your support to reject this executive order, and let's do it the right way. Let's extend an offer to the governor to sit down at the table with all the stakeholders, to include the House members, and let's talk about what we can do to streamline the process and make the necessary amendments on the existing law if that's what we need to do. But I just don't believe that the executive order, in the manner it was done, was the proper way. So that's all I have, Chair. Are you?
Thank you, Senator Magofnia. Any other members? Recognize Senator Castro.
So, at first I wanted to commend Senator Neighbors for the visionary leadership with the bill that opened up a digital economy advancement for the municipality of Tinian. And the reason why I supported that is because of what's happening in the region. And the factors in our island. We have limited natural resources. We don't have gold. We don't have trees we can cut down. We just have a small amount of land and people. But what that bill does, and also, it's that override allowed for, is to access the world digitally, access the market without people having to fly here, right? The challenge with the casino is the main source market is China, and even the government of China put in a law to prevent their people from gambling outside of China. At the same time, you have economies like Japan that the exchange rate isn't doing so well. The tariff situation further had an issue. So earlier we were talking about what other industries. So the digital economy advancement that Senator Neighbors spearheaded, that's a really visionary focus. But at the same time, we have people in the manufacturing industry on island wanting to set up shop. The same reason why we had the garment factories during that time when we had a really strong and robust economy is because of the tariffs. So again, like the question that was posed, what is there? There's other ways to do this, and it's not exclusively a casino industry. you guys are, you know, members, you'll know where I'm gonna vote. The people of specifically Saipan voted twice against this. But yes, we were in dire situation, but at the same time, we ended up back in square one. So I think I yield the rest of my time, but just please respect that there's no beef here, but I'm gonna vote the way I'm gonna vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. I recognize the Vice President.
Thank you, Floor Leader, and thank you, Senator Castro. But I would be remiss if I were to accept the accommodation and praise, because it wasn't this digital economy and our stablecoin initiative wasn't a baby of mine. It was a baby of the Tinian delegations, and I want to thank them. If we're going to thank me, we have to thank them, because none of it would have worked without the other. Now, coming back to the subject at hand, I think another important component of what we're talking about that we're missing is this casino commission. No, the Commonwealth Casino Commission was created to be an autonomous department, separate from the executive branch and from political influence specifically. Now this executive order is going to fold into the very entity that's supposed to be apolitical, members of the cabinet, to represent them in the process moving forward. And again, this is contrary to the fundamental component of the enabling statute, which is why I plead with the members of the legislature. If this is an issue, let us come to the table and as legislators identify all of the failure points in this mechanism and address them one by one, so that the product still is intact, ensures that all the senatorials are represented, as well as keeping the autonomous component, right, of that agency in line. Because by folding it over, by taking a agency that was directly created to be separate from political influence and giving it to the executive branch, which is all appointed by the governor, and right now I think is through an executive order with no understanding of how this is going to take place. I'll tell the members of the viewing public. At the end of our last session, we spoke to Commissioner De Leon Guerrero, and to this date, there has been no attempt by the Lottery Commission to speak to the Casino Commission regarding this executive order. So again, all of these things are very concerning and should be very concerning for everybody. I'm not opposed to making changes if the third senatorial is so inclined. Again, what I offer is an opportunity to sit at a table and do this right, because the legislature is the one that enabled this statute, and if need be, we should be the body that addresses it. I yield my time, Floor Leader.
Thank you, Vice President. Recognize Senator Babalta.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. Just two comments, I think, alluding to Senator Magofnia's comments in the second round about, this is trying to do the right thing and everything. I mean, come on, there's been arguments and debates and bills in this body, in this chamber, that those practices are only when it is convenient. For example, recently, the inclusion of the back pay of the casino commissioners in an amended budget. And I tried to argue with reason and logic that they are, in fact, not government employees, but this body, because I don't have the votes, still voted to put their back pay into the amended budget. And basically, that's all I wanted to make comments on, that this body only, when it is convenient, will apply their arguments, and many times that I have witnessed, that I have experienced in this chamber, that logic and reason are put aside and based on numbers and alliances. And I get it. I respect democracy. If anybody in here totally respects democracy and the power of one vote per member, it is I. My husband did not wear that uniform for me not to respect democracy. And I will continue to advocate for, what is morally, logically, and rationally correct based on my principles. Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, and I yield.
Thank you.
I'm ready to vote.
Thank you, Senator Balta. Any other members? Just a closing comment before we rise back into session. I've heard arguments from the Senate President about representation of the districts in the Lottery Commission or lack thereof, and as well as the Vice President recommending that we make changes to the existing law. In addition to the comments made by Senator Balta and Senator Castro in their concerns of the rejection of the executive order. But, there's one thing that I've learned as the chairman of the Rota delegation is that we've constantly been changing our local law that allows for a casino on Rota in order to address concerns from the community as well as those of the commissioners in trying to seek for a better alternative and trying to invite investors, but also not or stop the bleeding, if you want to call it that. And when this EO initially came out, I was in support of it until I've heard arguments of how this should be done legislatively. We've addressed these concerns with the casino commissioners. They've shared, and as well as you guys have read in the papers, that there is an investor currently willing to invest and take over the responsibilities and some of the liabilities from IPI, and that it's still with DPL, and according to DPL, it's still with the AG's office. So there is something coming down the line. But in regards to the issue that this is going back to the Lottery Commission, and that's the commission that made these amendments. These are not the same commissioners that we had, when the agreement was first agreed upon. And so I think if ever the legislation were to come down with what we've read coming from Representative Flores, that's something for the legislature to consider, and that's something that I would support, not in how it's currently pre-filed, if it was already pre-filed, but there are some amendments that could be made, and these are stuff that we've asked the Casino Commission to provide, and they did provide a list of amendments that we can consider in solidifying and strengthening the Public Law 1856 to make it more attractive to outside investors, as well as to be able to carry the work that is currently going on with the CCC in regards to the new investor that is willing to come in and take over the liabilities of IPI. One thing that we are learning right now with even just the Rota Casino Commission is that they have been working unpaid for these past couple of months, and they've issued a license to an investor right now trying to get things started up on Rota. And so there is an opportunity for the Casino Commission to continue the work, provided that they move quickly on any new investors, but also if any members would like to make amendments to even the salary portion, if that's a concern from the members or the community, that's something that I'm sure this body can consider. And if any of the members would like to introduce resolution or introduce a bill to amend 1856, I'm very open to it. But like what the Vice President had mentioned, if this commission was created by statute, by legislation, then the same should be done to make changes to it, and even to remove some of its powers in the meantime, or whatever the case may be, from whatever is proposed by the members. And so with that, I will be supporting the rejection, provided that we have a lot of information that can be used to amend the current law, the current statute, to better to make the legislation or the Casino Commission operate in a way that saves money on the CNMI, but also continues to encourage and invite investors to invest in the CNMI. And so with that, members, can I get a motion to rise back into session?
Ms. Floor Leader, I would like to offer a motion to rise back into plenary session. So move.
There was a motion made and was seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. We are now back in session and we take a short recess.
We now rise back into session. We're in number 7 of the Standing Committee report. I recognize the floor leader.
Mr. President, there was a motion already made and was seconded.
So, clerk, call the roll.
For clarification, can we repeat the motion?
Floor leader, I recognize floor leader.
Mr. President, the motion was for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 2422.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta?
No.
Senator Castro?
No.
Senator Cruz?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider?
Again.
Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofnia?
Yes.
Senator Mangonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, 6 members voting yes, 2 members voting no, 1 absent.
Thank you, clerk. with 6 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 24-22 is hereby adopted. Moving on. Item N. There's none. Item O, resolution calendar. Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move for the adoption of Senate Resolution 24-06 to disapprove Executive Order 2025-002 to transfer authority for supervision of casino gaming from the Commonwealth Casino Commission to the Commonwealth Lottery Commission pursuant to NMI Constitution Article 3, Section 15.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee or Resolution Calendar 24-06, Senate Resolution Calendar 24-06, and it was seconded. Any discussion?
Ready.
Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalka?
No.
Senator Castro?
Aye.
Senator Cruz?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider?
Again.
Senator King Neighbor?
Yes.
Senator Maglonia?
Yes.
Senator Manglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, 6 members voting yes, 2 members voting no.
Thank you, clerk. With 6 members voting yes, Senate Resolution number 24-06 is hereby adopted. Moving on. Bill calendar. Recognize the floor leader.
Mr. President, we have Senate Bill number 24-08 to amend certain provisions of the Sinamai Recycling Act of 1999 to establish the Department of Public Works as its proper authority and for other purposes. I move for its passage.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 24-08, and it was seconded. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalka?
Hungan.
Senator Castro?
Hungan.
Senator Cruz? Senator Hofschneider? Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Maglonia?
Yes.
Senator Manglonia?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider? Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 24-08 hereby passes the Senate. Floor leader.
Mr. President, we have Senate Bill number 24-19 to amend 9 CMC Section 2208D to authorize motor vehicle licensure to all residents of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I move for its passage.
Thank you, floor leader. There's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 24-19, and it was seconded. Any discussion? Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee found that acquiring a valid driver's license in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands requires the presentation of relevant documents to confirm the applicant's lawful residency in the Sinamai. Given our remote location and local restrictions in managing our immigration system, residents without proof of lawful presence in the Sinamai have taken risk of driving a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. This not only leads to a lack of auto insurance coverage for the safety of all motorists and pedestrians on Sinamai roads, but also result in loss of revenue from unregistered vehicles and driver's license fees. The committee found that the approximately 19 states, along with the District of Columbia, have enacted legislation to allow unauthorized immigrants to obtain a driver's license, provided that the applicant can prove some form of documentation, such as a foreign passport, a birth certificate, or a consular card, as well as proof of current residency in the state. And so with that, members, I ask for your support of this legislation. As the committee have reported, this will not only ensure the safety of all motorists on the roads, but this would hopefully be one step forward in allowing for DPS to mandate or to go out and look, issue citations to all motorists, provided that now everyone who is eligible over the age of 16 can obtain their driver's license, insure their vehicles, get it inspected and registered, and provide for a more safer streets. And again, thank you for those who will be supporting this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, floor leader. Any other? Recognize Senator Carl King Neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to commend the author of the bill, Floor Leader Magnolia, for the for actually putting pen to paper and authoring this bill, which some people might view as controversial. I tend to believe that it is a step in the right direction, especially as it relates to the public safety. Ensuring that everybody over the age of 18 or 16 rather can properly go provide the documents and get a driver's license. We did do a fiscal analysis as it related to this, and though there might be some costs up front, the long-term projection is that we will gain more revenue as more people will now be paying for the driver's license fee. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Vice. Any other discussion? Recognize Senator Magofnia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to commend the senator for introducing this piece of legislation that to some might be controversial, but you know, we already have individuals driving on the roads without driver's license, and you know, speaking of public safety, that should be a priority. And then it also adds revenues, right, to DPS, but not just revenues to DPS, even the insurance companies. We want to make sure that if you're going to drive on the road, that you are properly insured, because should people get into accidents with no driver's license and no insurance, that could be another, issue in itself. But thank you, Senator Donald, for taking action on this. I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Magofnia. Any other members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta?
Hungan.
Senator Castro?
None.
Senator Cruz? Yes. Senator Hofschneider?
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofnia?
Yes.
Senator Maglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 24-19 hereby passes the Senate. Floor Leader.
Next up, Mr. President, we have Senate Bill number 24-21 to amend 9 CMC Section 2103 to require execution of a notice of transfer and release of liability by the appropriate parties upon the ownership transfer of a vehicle. I move for its passage.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There is a motion offered to pass Senate Bill number 24-21, and it was seconded. Any discussions by the members? Recognize Senator Vice.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to again also commend the author, Senator Cruz, for this piece of legislation. What the committee found during our deliberations when we reached out to the Department of Public Safety for their comment is that they already have the framework, the paperwork needed to do this. But when we looked at the actual statute and underlying obligation, it lacked any statutory backing. So with this, it really does mandate the ownership and the title transfers, which is important again as people are driving vehicles and selling vehicles, that everybody's aware of who the owner is, and in the event of an accident, that the title and the insurance is rightfully transferred to the proper owner. I yield my time.
Thank you, Vice President. Any other members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta?
Hungan.
Senator Castro?
None.
Senator Cruz? Yes. Senator Hofschneider?
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofina?
Yes.
Senator Maglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 24-21 hereby passes the Senate. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, up next we have House Bill number 24-2 to establish a process for the delivery of a State of the Commonwealth address to the legislature by the governor. I move for its passage.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion to pass House Bill number 24-2, and it was seconded. Any discussions by the members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babalta?
Hungan.
Senator Castro?
None.
Senator Cruz? Yes. Senator Hofschneider? Yes. Senator King Neighbors?
Yes.
Senator Magofina?
Yes.
Senator Maglonia?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, House Bill number 24-02 hereby passes the Senate. Floor Leader.
And last on our bill calendar, we have House Bill number 24-19 to rename the CNMI Scholarship Office to the CNMI Scholarship and Financial Assistance Office. I move for its passage.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. There's a motion to pass House Bill number 24-19, and it was seconded. Any discussion by the members? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Hungan.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz. Yes. Senator Hofschneider. Senator King Neighbors.
Yes.
Senator Maglonia.
Yes.
Senator Manglonia.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, all 8 members voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 8 members voting yes, House Bill number 24-19 hereby passes the Senate. Moving on. Item Q, petitions memorial. Clerk. Sure, recess. We now rise back into session. Item Q, clerk.
Mr. President, we have 3 on our agenda, 24, 43, and 45.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions by the members? Moving on. Item R, announcement. Anybody wishing to make an announcement? Go ahead. Recognize Senator Hofschneider.
Thank you, Senator President. Just for the interest of discussion with the concurrent resolution, I believe the House just adopted it, of which everybody knows that the July 1st has come and gone, and there was no amendment to the projection. So therefore, we'll be notifying the committee members of a possible Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting to discuss that. And I also extend it to any other member that wish to join us in that meeting. I am inclined to request the presence of the Secretary of Finance, MVA, OGM, and OMB to have a discussion with regards to the projection, and maybe another agency, but I will announce that accordingly. Are you back?
Thank you. Any other members? So for my part, I just wanted to make an announcement on Legislative Initiative 24-01. Floor Leader, we're going to go ahead and hold off on the referral of that initiative. And the reason for that is due to this recent letter by MPLT request with the administration or the executive branch requesting for a $29 million pension obligation for the next fiscal year budget. It's quite alarming considering where we're at, and that legislative initiative will, with this $29 million, will just add a heavy burden on MPLT. So I just wanted to announce that to the members that I'm going to go ahead and hold off on that to make sure that the fiscal affairs does its diligence and make sure that this $29 million request by the administration is actually being thoroughly vetted. As some public comments were made, the executive branch has made a EDA loan. There was a $15 million loan. So some of the things that we just got to make sure is that we're able to sustain that payment in the next fiscal year. The fear is that with the economy pointing downwards, with all these MBA announcement on us not meeting or not even coming close to meeting post-pandemic, pre-pandemic numbers, it's quite alarming for us to say that we have the necessary means to pay those obligations. So I think it is incumbent of us and this body to make sure that when we deliberate on the fiscal year budget, that this is one of the consideration that the members of that committee vet thoroughly. Again, so Floor Leader, we're going to go ahead and hold off on that. This is not to disqualify that initiative, but to ensure that we address the fiscal year budget with this $29 million request by the administration. So thank you. Any other announcement? Moving on. Item S, adjournment. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move for adjournment subject to your call.
Second.
Thank you. Crew, that was a long session, one of the longest sessions we've had, but I appreciate you guys' patience. There's a motion offered by the floor leader to adjourn, and it was seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Today's session is hereby adjourned.